Hi, I'm Climate Savage. I do biology A-level. This is the second part to the apoptosis video. I was having a problem with the iPad, so I just cut it short rather than it going all halfway through the video. So in this half, the apoptosis video, we're just going to go over the history of it, and we're also I'm gonna give you some questions if you want them, and if you want to be stretched and challenged in the purple box in the book, I will read along with that. Well, to start off with, the history of apoptosis. How much they're going to test you on this exam, I doubt. I think it's just good background knowledge to know. It was described in 1842 by someone called Carl Vaux, and it was then again described as programmed cell death in 1885 by Walter Fleming. So it had been known and been the idea of it being around for quite a while. But then in 1965, John Fox and Ross Kerr researched the topic and brought it back up again. He was studying tissues using electron microscopy and wanted to distinguish between the two different types, necrosis and apoptosis, as he realised they were different and, well, very different, and wanted to know why. He was invited to Aberdeen and joined the research team of Professor Curry and his PhD student, Andrew Wiley. And then in 1972, the three of them published an article in the British Journal of Cancer. They chose the name apoptosis as it had been used by Hippocrates to mean falling off bones. It had also been used by Galen in the context of dropping off on scab. It's from two Greek words, apoptosis, and literally means dropping off, as in like flower petals dropping. So who are Hippocrates and Galen? If you did GCSE history, you will know about them. Hopefully, if you did the topic that I did, which was history of medicine, which was not the most fun history topic, but yeah, but it kind of set me up quite well for biology, so that's good. I'm not sure quite how much of A-level history could be related to biology, but if you do a medicine topic, then this will have come up. Hippocrates, he was an ancient Greek doctor and teacher of medicine, and he's widely regarded as the father of medicine. He was really good for his time, and very influential. So I'm just trying to find. He was really good. He did things like, I can't quite remember, really sorry, like the 4 different parts of the body. Wait, let me just check this for you because I don't want to give you false information. I'm good on Galen. Galen's good for me. I just need to check what Hippocrates did. Oh, here we go. Yeah, Hippocrates, he had the body humus theory, the 4 humus. There we go. And his idea was difference in body moods and illnesses was due to an imbalance of the 4 bodily fluids, which was blood, yellow bile, black bile, and phlegm. And so if, for example, you'd have different parts that drained, if they thought something was wrong, you might have your blood drained because they thought that was too much blood and that was an imbalance. It wasn't actually, in some cases it was very wrong, but in other cases he wasn't actually too far off. But usually the imbalance was due to the illness, not always the other way around. Galen, he was a Roman doctor, and his theories dominated Western medicine for thousands of years. I think it was quite a long time, for over 1,000 years. He built on Hippocrates' work. He promoted Hippocrates' theory and the typology of human temperance, an imbalance of each humour with a particular human temperament, like blood sanguine, black bile, melancholic, yellow bile, choleric, and phlegm, phlegmatic. But yeah, basically his principal interest was in human autonomy, and Roman law had meant that you couldn't do dissections on people. So Galen had to go and look at animals. He mostly looked at pigs and primates, dead ones, and he based his work on this. In his whole life, he did hundreds, I think, of books about human autonomy, yet he didn't actually ever cut up a human. He used pigs and primates because the anatomical structure of these animals closely mirror those of humans, but they're not quite right. So he did get quite a lot of things wrong. I can't remember quite what it was, something like the liver was up here or something, the stomach was over there. But he was very influential, and he was a very highly skilled surgeon. He did lots of procedures that were very ahead of his time for Romans, and they weren't used again for hundreds of years. But basically he was so influential that his works stayed as like law, basically, for 1,000 years, and no one ever questioned it. And then we go on to Leonard Hayflick. If you can't remember who he is, I think of Leonard Hofstadter from The Big Bang Theory, and just remember him as Leonard H. Because they're both to do with science. I know Leonard Hofstadter was like physics or something, but still. Leonard Hayflick was born in 1928, and he's a professor of anatomy at the University of California and studied aging. Since the early 1900s, it was thought that normal body cells were immortal, i.e. they never died. But in 1962, Hayflick showed that normal body cells actually had a limited amount of time, and they divided a limited amount of times. He also showed that unfortunately cancer cells were immortal. They didn't have the programmed cell death in them. It took some time before the scientific establishment accepted this. Journals turned down his articles and everything, but he persevered and contradicted the current theory. His work is now accepted, and he's provided the basis for the modern research into cancer, and he's also made many other important contributions to scientific knowledge. At an institute in Philadelphia, he developed a normal diploid strain of human cells called W138, and these are used worldwide to produce many human viral vaccines, including polio, rubella, mumps, rabies, and hepatitis A. So Leonard Hayflick, good. Leonard H, he's good. So now we've gone over the history of it. I said we'll do a bit of the stretching challenge if you're up for that. Well, if cells have damaged DNA, including mutations genes involved in regulating mitosis, they don't respond to signals from surrounding cells. If you remember, I was saying that Leonard Hayflick showed that cancer cells are immortal. This is basically true with this. They don't undergo apoptosis, and they keep dividing. This forms a tumour, a cancerous tumour. If the cells from the tumour break away and enter the blood or lymph and travel to another part of the body, they can set up secondary cancers. This is called metastasis, and the cancerous tumour is malignant. The Hpv virus, human papilloma virus, causes genital warts, and this virus can be sexually transmitted and can affect cells of the cervix, and it interferes with a protein called p53, which prevents apoptosis and causes cervical cancer. So that's quite a good thing to remember, what it causes, like a specific cancer that a lack of apoptosis can lead to. If you want a stretching challenge, actually no, I'll do normal questions first. If you want some normal questions, you could explain the effect of making the inner mitochondrial membrane more permeable to hydrogen ions. If you can't remember where that was from, go back to where we were talking about how apoptosis is controlled, isn't there? You could also explain why this process of apoptosis does not lead to the damage of nearby cells and tissues. You could define cell necrosis. You could write out a sequence of events for apoptosis. And a suggest question, yay, my favourite, suggest how ineffective and harmful T lymphocytes would differ from effective T lymphocytes and what they could do. Now, if you want a stretch and challenge question, if you're going for that A star or A, there's a vaccine available against the Hpv virus. Think of pros and cons for vaccinating all boys and girls before they reach sexual maturity. So that was Apoptosis. There's 2 videos. If you've started watching this one and you got to the end and you don't understand anything, yeah, you missed the first video. That was basically describing apoptosis. You just watched the second bit of it, so go back and watch that. I'm Climate Savage. I do biology A level, and that's the end of the video. And good luck with your biology A level. And sorry, my voice is going.